Hey Internet, Eric here. Gonna go back to Tromaville. It's been a while since I've been in there. I've been discussing the Toxic Avenger series, intercut with the Two Bearded Losers and the Whitey the White Guy stuff. Last time when I discussed Toxic Avenger Part II, I mentioned how Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hurst, they they filmed so much footage for Toxic Avenger Part II that they split it into two movies. And today I'm going to talk about the second half of that original movie. I'm going to talk about what eventually became the Toxic Avenger Part III, The Last Temptation of Toxie. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, all that crap. Again, came out the same year as Toxic Avenger Part II, which I believe was 1989. I'll have it obviously in the title. In this, once again, crime has been obliterated in Tromaville, and this time Toxie is talking about how he became a villain. We're getting a voiceover from Toxie, and what eventually happens is he's out of work because he has defeated all the bad guys. He is depressed, he is suicidal, and he wants to get Claire, his blind girlfriend, an operation to fix her vision because of, I think they said, a mouthwash accident. I don't know, it's trauma. And what happens is Toxie is put between a rock and a hard place, and he gets a job for the evil Apocalypse Incorporated. He eventually becomes a yuppie, and once he breaks free of becoming an evil yuppie, he has to fight the devil. Yes. Okay. Let's get to it. First, it's still goofy as hell, just like Part 2. The tone is more goofy. Toxie is still lovable, still funny, still stupid. I like how he wants to be, he wants to have a purpose in life now, because he has no, he has no purpose because all the bad guys have been defeated. I love his relationship with Claire, even though the actress who plays Claire is still horrible. Toxie is just such a sweetheart, like literally in this movie. And you actually feel for him when he wants to kill himself and he fails. Like, my favorite gimmick or gag in this movie is he's walking down the street and he wants to die because he's been jobless for so long. And he walks in front of a tunnel and he sees headlights. And he thinks it's a big semi-truck, so he stands right in front of it, turns around, doesn't face it, and the headlights turn into two single headlights because they're two motorcycles that drive past him. And you realize he can't even kill himself right. And then I love when he becomes this evil yuppie bastard after joining Apocalypse Incorporated. He's playing tennis, he's wearing, the collared shirt and the jogging shorts, and oh my god. I have a lot of fun with this one. I think, personally, this one is more fun than the second one, and I really enjoyed the goofiness of the second one. The acting, again, it's fucking trauma. Everyone pretty much sucks except for Toxie, and I liked the dude who was the head of the Apocalypse Incorporated corporation. He was fun. He was over top. He still reminds me of Mr. Peck from Ghostbusters, and eventually we find out that he is the devil. And he's so over the top when he's human. When he becomes the devil, it just makes it more fun. I don't think you can't really see probably very well with the glare, but just Google it. He becomes the devil. I like the look of the devil. There's no good pictures here. He's fun. And what makes this even more fun, the absurdity of this, he wants to put Toxie through 5 challenges to defeat him. And it's the challenge of like earth, wind, fire, water. And while I was watching this movie, I yelled out the word heart because it was fucking Captain Planet, and it's really mind. And these are really creative too. Like earth, he gets dragged into the ground. He has to get out water. No wait. Fire, he gets set on fire in a really, really good looking fire stunt. Like I mentioned before in the first movie. That fire stunt in that first movie was amazing. The fire stunt in this is really, really cool. Eventually, Toxie sets the devil on fire, and that's a cool burning stunt, even though you can see the mask that the actor or the stunt performer has on, the devil mask, is melting in the flames. So, and this movie is so self-aware, so breaking the fourth wall. They mention how bad the budget is, and this and that. They mention how Toxie says, I'll be back for Toxic Avenger Part 4. So that helps with this movie being so much fun. Speaking of, when he gets to like the wind challenge, the devil kidnaps a school bus full of trauma people, townspeople, and he's driving them around in this really really good stunt, and eventually he drives them to a hill, and he's the devil. He makes the school bus go up the hill, but you could tell it's trauma. So like they drove the school bus off the cliff or the hill, but it's shot in reverse, so it looks goofy as hell. And Toxie has to stop the bus from tipping over because of the wind. So Toxie jumps up there, and again, it's a reverse shot. You can tell the actor jumped down the hill, but it was shot in reverse. Really great. I love the water. Because there's some really good stunts in this. Eventually, Toxie's on the front of the school bus as the devil's driving it. The actor holding onto it is really great. And then it cuts to literally a dummy dressed like Toxie. You can tell his hands have literally probably been nailed to the front of the bus. His legs are literally dangling and like swaying in the distance. So eventually, the bus stops and he tries to drown Toxie. That's great. And then Mind, which I swear I kept fucking yelling heart for Captain Planet. Mind, the devil turns Toxie back into Melvin. And they didn't get Mark Torgel, they got some other actor. And they really made Melvin a really retarded dork in this one. He's still wearing the tutu, but he's got zits on his face. He's literally got like buck teeth. It looks like, they took two chiclets, the candy or the gum, and they stuck it in the actor's mouth. And he's got a really squeaky, high-pitched voice like this, instead of just him talking like, ooh, like how he did in the first movie. So that was interesting. Whenever Melvin is on the screen, he really is annoying. I like the idea of the mind, the mind challenge, but whoever the guy they played, the guy they got to play Melvin in this was horrible. But again, it's trauma. You get what you pay for. But I will say this, the stunts are really good. The fire stunt especially. The effects in this are pretty damn good. We'll talk about that. Not necessarily very, very gory, but what I want to talk about is like in the mind effect. When Toxie changes from Toxie to Melvin, he literally melts. And it's a really good melting effect. And it goes on for a good 30 seconds. Looks beautiful. And then the only like really, really violent scenes I can think of, other than when I'll just call him Mr. Peck, the Apocalypse Inc. leader or whatever. He's turning into the devil. Falls down on the ground. The devil literally rips himself out of the actor's body. For whatever budget they had for this movie, it was done really well. There's some blood. There's a lot of fucking slime covering this dude. It looks like whenever he talks, he's covered in snot. But violence-wise, Toxie is talking about, he's telling the story. And when he's telling the story, the movie starts with him saving a bunch of people in a video store. He's saving them from the Warner Brothers. The Warner Brothers are just a bunch of thugs with guns. And Toxie is putting like their hands in the rewind machine and closing it and chopping hands off. And, people are still getting shot and getting blown 10 feet away. It's a really cool scene. And again, it's breaking fourth wall, because one thing you can rent in this video store is you can rent the Toxic Avenger, because they have this large cardboard cutout of the Toxic Avenger. And that's how Toxie hides from the Warner Brothers. He literally stands in front of the cardboard cutout and poses exactly how the Toxic Avenger is in the cardboard cutout, so they just walk past him. Lots of fun. God, I just really, really enjoy this one. A lot of people, for some reason, don't like the sequels, 2 and 3. I liked 2. It was fun. This one is so much fun. It takes a while for Toxie to actually fight the people, in Apocalypse Incorporated. But once he does, that whole last 35 minutes where he's fighting the devil is amazing. I love Toxie when he's the evil yuppie. I like when he is doing the dirty work and doesn't even realize it. When he's putting condemned signs And because what Apocalypse Incorporated wants to do, they want to bring toxic waste into Tromaville and make it, a disgusting place. Toxie, he's so fucking, he's such an idiot. There's a sequence where he's helping them putting condemned signs in the lawns of houses, and he's just whistling down the street and puts the condemned sign in, hits it with the hammer, looks at it, hey, that looks good. He walks around, he jumps, kicks his legs, and then keeps walking and strutting. That's funny, and eventually it's cool because he goes from lovable guy who doesn't know he's doing wrong to a really bad piece of shit when he is the yuppie. He doesn't pay attention to Claire when he's on the phone. There is a conversation where he's having on the phone where he says something, I don't care if she hasn't had the money or whatever. If she doesn't get it in 30 days, she's out on the street or something like that. So I like that, I like, again, how it's Toxie telling the story. And so it starts with him as a good guy, defeats the Warner Brothers, and then he says, I'm going to tell you the time when I was evil. Talks about when he became, he was depressed, became the yuppie. And then after he realized he was bad, it cuts back to the him in the video store, and it goes on to him fighting the devil. So yeah, it's Troma. So if you can get past Claire being annoying, Toxie's mom being annoying, all the background characters being really annoying and stupid, I highly, highly recommend the Toxic Avenger Part III. Love Toxie, love the effects, love the challenges when he's fighting the devil. It ends happily. Claire and Toxie finally get married, so that was fun. God, this movie is so much fun. Depressed Toxie is hilarious. We still get a sex scene with him and Claire where she gets sight so she can go down on him. And so if you ever want to see Toxie and his girlfriend have sex while she's going down on him, and then they bang with bubbles and the trailer explodes into fireworks, this is the movie for you. Don't know what else to say. Highly, highly recommend Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, click the bell, all that stuff. Comment below. Tell me if you're one of the few people like me that I know of that really enjoys Part 3. Tell me what you think of the other two. Pretty soon I'll be diving into sadly the final Toxic Avenger movie, Citizen Toxie, Toxic Avenger Part 4. That one definitely goes back to the offensive route for Troma. I think Toxic Avenger 4 is probably the most offensive of the four, and it's one of the best ones in my opinion, but we'll get to that when I get to the video. So I don't know what else to say other than cheers.